Strange were the ways of Halaskir Azar, he who was named the Fist of Gosh, and stranger yet were those whom with he kept counsel, as though all oddity and dysfunction flocked to his side. But none were as strange as his own sons, Halim and Halan. From the records of Shea Paran, you stir awake, as though from deep slumber, now startling, eyes opening, senses keen, a scent on the air like cold ice running down your spine, numbing your nose, your chest, slowing the beat of your heart. You stand in the dark chamber now, the silence about you all encompassing.
Is that all, Eidolon? I'll say into the darkness.
Gently the hand untwines with your own, the pale flesh retracting behind the veil. No response, just that cold shiver on the air.
I hope to be able to see you soon. I'll say quietly, standing and turning around, making my way to the door if I can even find it in the darkness.
The door presents itself, a sliver of light coming through a crack near the bottom, the smallest pinprick of a beam. You track your way to it, and then, finding yourself in front of it, you hear the door opening, swinging outwards. They must have heard you coming to the approach. The guardsman standing outside has his back turned to you, with enough space between him and the doorway for you to sidle into the hall.
Turn back, looking around into the darkness one last time, just staring into it for a moment, and then sidling my way out through the open threshold into the hall.
Step to the hallway, the light blinding. Near to
I'll
the
blink.
guard. Go ahead.
I'll blink a few times to readjust myself to the change of light and take a deep breath, looking around at the guard and seeing if the one priestess is still at my side here.
The High Priestess of Lauthi, Parjuk, is still present. She looks down at you imperiously from beneath her veiled crown. The guardsman slowly closes the door, looking between the two of you, and then, eyes staring forward, he returns to his former post. Parjuk just nods once and then turns, shifting to move down the northern corridor away from you.
I'll remain there, standing in the hall for a moment, watching her as she leaves.
She disappears then, turning a corner, leaving you alone in the brazier-lit hall. The guard gives out a small cough, and then, realigning himself, he straightens.
Stand there, my hands on my hips, rolling around my tongue in my mouth for a moment, trying to make some coherent image of everything I saw in my mind. And then, after a moment or two, I'll look to the guard, nodding to him courteously, and then I'll make my way back to my room.
You begin the slow, inexorable walk back towards your chamber, the east wing. It takes some time before you arrive back again. You remember that when you arrived before the door, it might have been slightly past midday. Summoned there then, but now you find yourself near the height of the evening, darkness slowly descending down. How long must it have been? Hours, perhaps? But it did not feel as such. Slowly, you come to your door, hearing the sound of rain slowly coming back into your ears as every step you take sort of enlightens your senses as though they've been dulled. There's a light wind on the bay as well. It seems to almost always be windy and rainy in Karat Khan. Not a combination you're used to, having come from the steplands far to the east of here.
I'll stand there in front of my door. I'll reach my hand out toward the knob, but then stop. Upon all the sounds and ruckus of everything slowly flowing back into reality for me, I'll close my eyes and just sort of listen to it all for the moment. The wind of the rain. Take a deep breath, try and center myself, focus on the rest of the day and not what I saw before.
You center yourself, and then, gripping the knob, you realize that the cold touch of it is far more subtle than it was before. It flows up your arm and then dissipates as the warmth of your own body combats it. Stepping into the room, you find there Kansi staring out at the tower in the center of Karad.
I still don't know what to make of that damned thing. I'll say, walking into the room, I'll find a seat somewhere in the center.
Kansi doesn't turn, but simply nods. No mere man could make anything of it. It is not for mortals to concern themselves. But you are no mortal, are you?
No, I am not. And I think some kind of meaning can be derived from it in time. Time, I hope I have.
Kate nods again and now at last turns to look in the general direction of where you sit. Cast not your thoughts to the tower. It simply means to deceive, to persuade you away from your task. Koshani. There are real things to deal with. Real dangers.
How can you contend with real dangers after seeing the beauty of a homeland you've never seen? Seeing strange figures, speaking strange words, talking of things that you have no notion of, yet it feels so real right there in front of you.
What?
I'll look off aimlessly.
If we must weigh, which, in your mind, is worse? To have seen a homeland to which you have never been, or to have been to your homeland and never see it again?
I would say the latter is the greater ill. There's a certain pain. Even though I have not been there, I still feel it in my chest nonetheless. Maybe
Fair.
from those who once bore my name beforehand.
Fair.
A certain longing for that place.
Then why not return to Fam? Why stay here?
It's a good question. Maybe because it is here that the House of Azar will be tested. It will be fall or it will be forged. Maybe only after we have overcome that trial that remains for us here will we be allowed to reclaim our birthright once and for all.
The man nods. Reclamation. Such a tricky word. The dirt. They know a lot about reclamation. They seek to obtain it. But here you are. The agents of integration. Forced or otherwise.
Despite their pacifism, they will fight us, I think, to reclaim what is once theirs, what they hope to hold on to.
You think so? Do you
Yes.
see it in them?
Not now. But I think they will in time. We'll push them over their limit. It's only a matter of days, weeks, months.
Why not
Who
instead
knows?
try to capitulate? Why do you seek to push them? Can you not find harmony with the dirt? Is such a thing impossible by your father's hand?
Maybe it isn't. But his hand is an iron fist. I do not believe such a thing can be birthed with an iron fist. Cannot be cultivated. It requires a gentler hand. It requires more sense. We cannot just beat them into obeying us if we wish to have a long-standing peace.
It sounds, young Azar, as if you are in disagreement with your father's camp.
I think so. But what good does that do?
What good does it do?
I'm just his second son. I have no friends, no allies in his court, nobody here to help sway his mind. And he takes my counsel, but I do not think he would take such counsel were I to speak it to him.
He nods. What of which you speak? No allies? He smiles. But you have a blind exile from the west. And one blind exile from the west is worth many more than your Roshi, as I proved.
I hold hopes for what may come in time. It mean you could do good work together. For not just my people or the Durnt or whatever it may be, but what lies ahead in the future, beyond these damn cities.
He nods again, that familiar small shake of the head. You are dreamless. You are untouched by the strange taint. Perhaps great things do lie before you, Azar.
I may not have dreams, but that does not mean I still cannot dream of a better future for myself and those around me.
You understand my words of the previous morning. Good.
The night grows long. I think I will check on my brother before I retire for the evening.
And what if
Hopefully
you
he has
catch
not
him?
found him. I was just about to say, I hope he has not found himself into any more trouble than I can deal with. And what if I do catch him with another woman? I'll open the door, give him a nod, and then leave. He still wishes me to bring some other whore in here. The one you met on that previous night.
You will oblige him?
Hmm.
An imperceptible lifting of an eyebrow.
I feel as though I must. Though, perhaps it would be more convenient to simply send her on her way, gone forevermore, and tell him it could not be done, and I tried my best.
The wise man. A wise man would use the situation to their advantage. He looks at you coldly for a second,
So,
unerringly.
I'll raise an eyebrow at him, though he can't see it.
Second sons have little power, but heirs hold weight. He shrugs and turns back to look at the tower, staring out of the ancient stone windowsill.
That is true. Heirs also have the tendency to be the target of many, well, who would wish them dead.
Do you fear a knife in the dark, Azar?
For me, no. For my brother, my father, perhaps. That's why I do not covet their positions.
You do not
I think it would be
cover.
easier to protect them than to protect myself, were I to be the leader. It is easier to stand behind my brother as he talks the words I feed into his ear.
Insidious. But so are all gods. Prophets, visions, dreams, prophecy. All lies woven to control. Seems even you understand this.
I'll sit there, sort of unsure of how to respond. I'll nod to him, more to myself. And then I'll stand. I'm going to go do as I previously said. I should be back momentarily.
He nods slowly, and then goes silent. It's not just his silence, but the silence of Karad Khan in its entirety that has you unnerved. Except for those times where the priests wail their prayers and give their offerings up to the Dark Tower. The city never seems to make much noise. It always seems too quiet. The streets too neat, too clean, too devoid of movement or bustle. Is this the effects of your conqueror's force, or merely a nature of the city, or the Dernfolk themselves? Who can say?
Oh, it's so damnably quiet in this damn place. Ugh. I'll shake my head, stand, and then head for the door.
Make your way out of the door, down the corridor, seeking your brother's chamber. You find outside posted a guardsman. He is half at the watch, half with eyes lowered, slowly drifting. He looks haggard.
I'll approach the man coming before him in the door.
He hears you coming, and when he sees you, he gains a bit more life, stepping up a bit straighter, staring ahead, not making eye contact, as is his keen.
I'll say to him, not really making eye contact either, "Do not let me find you dozing off again. I know your watch is long and dull, but it is an important one."
He nods, a bit abashed, and then he turns, bowing. The divine revered is in his chamber. Shall I announce you?
Yes.
The man steps into the room. You hear him whispering other words you can't make out, and then a louder voice. Then let him in. What are you waiting for? Do not leave my brother outside. The voice getting louder and louder until it comes to the door, and the door opens. And there he stands. Hala Nazar looks you up and down, and then grins. You've come at last. I've been waiting all damn day.
Hmm. It's been a long day. I apologize. I have not come sooner, brother. May we speak in your chambers?
Yes. The guardsman steps out. You step in. The door shut behind the two of you. The door shut behind the two of you. Halan turns. Oh, this damnable city. I miss the step. The Ulmanate. The more I think about it, the more I regret the decision to take father up on his offer. Come to Karad Khan. Prove yourself to myself. You are capable of aiding me in my governance. I had the chance to stay. By proxy, you would have stayed as well. But the decision is made. Here we are.
I think our fate is always meant to guide us here.
Fate.
It is a test, a trial.
You believe in such things?
Hmm.
I guess we all do in a way. Possible not to.
I think, though we be gods, there is still something more weaving and keeping this whole grand experiment of ours together, this world we live in. Even if it is not written in the Kalishna.
I guess with the Kalishna, all things must be fate.
All preordained. All one man taking the name of another one after another.
Do not let the priests hear you speak in such a way. The act of proclamation is the most holy of our people, Halim. I may have my differences when it comes to these things, but still best to talk in hushed tones when one speaks of heresy.
You mistake my tone for disdain.
Perhaps I do.
hold no ill against our ways in my heart. I know them to be true. I follow them to the letter every single day. But still, I question them. It is only healthy. It only strengthens the truth I know to be true. Our faith. That is not why I have come, though. I'll go and find a seat somewhere in his chambers, stretching while I do so.
Then speak on it. Don't lounge like some sort of phalanx on the porch. What has brought you here tonight?
I've come to check up on you and to tell you of the day's ongoings.
Oh? More reports from my desk. I've had 3. 2 from the master physician, which I have yet to even gaze upon. I will find time eventually, no doubt. The other 3? 2 letters of... He stops, biting his lips. 2 of my Vroshi guardsmen have requested Aushta. I'm thinking of denying them, as is my right. Still, it does not bode well for appearances.
No. The more and more we spend here, the more and more we find our ways tested. Not just you and I and Father, but those who follow us. They have to question their righteousness every day, and it is tested every day.
Yes. And every day, one thing or another, a small act, a small push, can lead any man to Auschta, or any woman
Yes.
for that matter.
If we allowed them all to seek it, then we would be without a retinue in good time.
You not. On that matter, I heard a rumor. It came from one of the second gone I shared a meal with during the evening. He heard it from from one of the couriers, who heard it from a guardsman, who heard it in
Hmm.
discussion over dinner at the same occasion. Is it true that your staff has found a new addition?
Yes. One that was prior a part of Father's. I I'll sort of look downwards, unsure of how to speak for a second, and then I'll look back up to my brother, more certain. I think that I overstepped this morning my boundaries and my what I could realistically get away with,
How so?
given my station, given my nameless state.
Hmm.
One of the guards assigned to you, he brought before me a woman this morning.
Oh, that would be an overstepping. Did you at least
Yes.
choose well the woman which he brought? He says, lifting an eyebrow.
I'll cough. That is not my meaning.
Oh,
He
oh,
brought me to the woman because she was peering through the cracks in the wall of your room and saw you having your way with that animal of a dirt girl.
he tenses a bit. Heresy. Her eyes mistaken. I would not lower myself to such standards. No wonder she has been punished and given to your staff. Though I'm
Yes.
surprised she was not allowed to seek Aushata after telling such a lie. I'd have her tongue cut out, though I heard you already did it for her.
Yes, I did, in Father's behest. And he shares the similar mind as of what me and you just spoke of, that if we were to send all our servants to die, righteously or
We would
not,
have
we
no
would not have a
servants left.
party.
Yes.
So then, as a sort of debt to be paid to him, I took her tongue, and she was given to my company. Father took her eye, as he likes to do.
Do you not feel as though... Do... Hmm. She is of the second gone, if I am correct in the rumors that have been shared with me. Do not fear her timely reconciliation. Or do you think you can sufficiently cow her?
I do not know. I have not had the chance to speak with her since earlier.
I
I
see.
was sought out by one of the priestesses, the high priestess, no less.
Pajuk came to speak with you. Outside of
Yes.
ceremony or sacrifice?
Yes, and it is a matter that is best kept quiet, very quiet.
No doubt. Under my understanding, Pajuk has not left her prayers since the last sacrifice to Kaush. He looks away a bit unsteady at that. You will learn of those
Indeed.
things soon enough. As a named one, you shall be in attendance to such ceremony.
I hope so. I hope I can find it within myself to pass the trials I face ahead to claim my name.
He nods. Zahaba awaits. He grins. I am sure that you will find yourself victorious. Nonetheless, was there any other matter you wish to discuss, or can we return to pleasant conversation? he says with a bit of a smirk.
Unless you needed aid in poring over any of these letters or tasks you were given, and we can move on to a pleasant conversation, brother.
I thought about it, but my mind is too tired even to relegate these tasks to others, let alone take them under my own mantle at the moment. The day has been ledger's. Another damned meeting on integration. The fourth this week. I'm tired of the talk of it. They are divvying up land. You hear? Our land. I guess the Idavar's land. Still, the land under our jurisdiction.
Be given to whom?
Some to the dirt. Others says that the farms must be farmed. To do so, there must be farmers. Though there will be Tavrish overseers and lords of state instated over such places. Some of the Vroshi have volunteered themselves as overseers. Others have had themselves volunteered at Father's behest, regardless of their own wishes. It's caused some dismay. Many are of the high ranking. No one else could be trusted. And then there's the Steplands. I can't believe Father sent the 7th Company north, away from us.
The other cities must be cowed, but I fear we're spreading ourselves too thin in that effort.
And that we agree full-heartedly. Although I feel as though I am speaking to some sort of mirror, and it speaks back to me, a tongue so similar to my own.
How else would it be?
How else
We're
would it be,
brothers. We have
Dweena?
spent much time together.
And we are Dweena and Koshan. Halan and Halim, he says, grinning. The battles we have fought together, the wars we have won, the conquests. It was us, after all, who first took Kared Khan, many, many years ago. It was us who first decimated this dirt infestation.
We might yet do it again.
History
Though
often
I think
repeats.
we may want to go about such things with less of an iron fist, more of a softer hand.
You think so?
We do not have such a great host as we had at our backs
But what great host
many
is
years
needed?
before.
Outside of the Darkhand's host, that blasted Korban, none of the dirt are armed. They carry little more than pitchforks and torches. Perhaps the occasional bailing hook for the ships. They are not a warlike people.
No.
We are armed, trained, and have known conquest.
But they may find their own ways to protest us if we push them to their limit. And even then, we may push some to violence, some to break their ways. And what can one man with sword and spear and shield do against 10 wielding pitchforks and hooks? We are outnumbered. And if we are crushed or left in a state where we cannot control these cities, the Tavern will use it as an excuse to be rid of us once and for all.
The
I believe.
Tavern. And who are they? Foreigners. Undeserving and unworthy. Their men dress shoddily. Their armor is chinked. Their chainmail rusted. They have little, if no, dignity, let alone control of their own rank and file. You saw the camp of the Tavern. It may be something of a sizable host, but behind or against the Koshani and the Vroshi?
Give me 3 battalions of Roshi riders. I will rout them all.
And what if they keep coming? Again, and again, and again, and again.
He
Tarvin have many
grins.
great cities underneath their underneath their yoke. What they lack in discipline and strength of arms, they make up for in numbers and the idea of rule. They have subjugated countless underneath their iron fist, underneath their boot, from the cities of Aelavar to our very own peoples in the south,
And are we
to
to
their
be
great cities in the
subjugated?
north.
Where is the Koshani rule? I heard once that we build great keeps, majestic halls. The greatest and most noble army of the river. Where is that time gone? Where are the artifacts of old? Have we lived 100 lives merely now to be slaves? Before such a pittance? I don't desire it. Do you?
No. And I think there will become a time where we are forced to fight for our people, for our names, lest we all just become Tavrish. I don't know when that time may be. Perhaps not even in our lifetimes. Perhaps when our names are passed on.
Our names are eternal, as are we. We shall
Yes.
eventually regain what is ours. I see it now. The resplendent halls of Fam. I hear that they are undwindling. That not even the stone has chipped under storm, nor duress. They lie as they once did. Somewhere across the sea.
I'll look along distantly for a moment, and then I'll stand, walking over to my brother, place a hand on his shoulder, and look him in the eye. That it is. I have seen it, brother.
He turns to look up at you. You have?
That was what the matter of today was. Why the High Priestess sought me out. I was allowed to enter Eidolon's room, and she showed me countless things that I could only know to be real, although it all seemed like a dream.
He
I
grins.
saw the great, lush, flourishing land of Farum, our home, in the river Aushna. I saw many other sights too. I saw a woman bathed in shadow by the great tower here in Karad Khan, wearing silky white robes as she marched up the steps. All around her, knelt, dead, subjugated. That is our future. We will conquer these cities. We will bring them to heel, and then we will use what they give us to go home, brother. Back west, we will find it.
He hisses, but it is forbidden. Only the Mashog may return. Only the Mashog. He shivers at that, fear running across his face at the mention of the name.
Maybe, but we will be the ones that let them return home. The one that clears the way for them.
He nods.
And in doing so, we will reclaim it in our own right.
A fervor comes into his eyes, and he nods again, faster. A bead of sweat dripping down his brow, wipes it away. Just promise me this, Twinner. We will not be idle while we are here. I cannot stand this waiting.
Well, don't wait then. Do not simply commit yourself to the tasks given to you. Take initiative. Seek out others who might be able to aid us in the future. Befriend them. Form a clique. Build your own court. That within fathers, so that even if one day he may fall, though I hope he does not, you will be ready to rule in his stead. I at your side. In the meantime, I will seek to claim my name, and then afterwards I will commit myself to doing the same. We must build our influence.
He grimaces at that. You have yet to understand, though. How could you? The claiming of your name, Dwayner. It will put more tasks upon you. Some will be crushing. Even I now feel the weight of my name. Of the requirement of it. There are things you do not know. In time you will learn. And I fear for that time. As I
I'll
do
take my
for the
hand.
dwindling of that fire you have now inside you. Still young.
I'll take my hand off his shoulder, looking at him somewhat concerned. You speak to me as though you've seen 1,000 lives. Maybe you have truly claimed your name.
At that, he cracks a grin and lets the somber feeling wash from him. He stands then. I tire. And I can see it in your eyes, you as well, grow weary. There are appointments in the morning. We have been summoned. Meetings, he hisses, for the week. One for every cursed day of the Tarvish calendar. He shakes his head. Integration. Bureaucracy. Taxes. He moves to his bed.
I will leave you now.
He nods.
And though I do not look forward to tomorrow or the week and all those tasks, they are things that must be done. And yet we will do them.
If the guardsman is drifting off outside, he says to you as you walk off, give him a good hard kick in the shins.
Will do, brother. I'll sort of give him a wave of my shoulder as I walk to the door, opening it, stepping out.
The guardsman is in fact not drifting off, but alert and attentive. He gives you a respectful bow. And then, where do you go?
I'll make my way back down the hall to my room.
Make
I
your
plan on
way.
retiring for the night.
You find your way back to your room and then re-entering it. The soft sound of rain and wind coming in from the bay. You find yourself staring down at Cotsineer to the foot of your bed, curled up in a ball. He snores lightly. It seems as though the man does sleep.
I'll take note of it, and I'll step over him onto my bed.
You do so. Feel your own weariness washing over you, taking hold. A hand pulling you down into a dark nothingness. You let it. Time moves. The world shifts. Days pass, filled with the tribulations of court life and with the trainings of your Majud. The practicing of the stone mine continues, mixed with horsemanship and other brief and small reprieves from the stress of it all. In the meantime, things seem to move at a crawl in Karad Khan. Many meetings are held, troops repositioned, land is passed from hand to hand. And in that time, no word is sent from Eidlon. That common formality seemingly missed in these moments. It is on the third day, since you closed your eyes. You wake to a new and peculiar situation, with the light streaming in, curtaining its way around the tower and peppering the floor of your room in small beams. You find yourself coming awake to a sound, a knocking on the door.
I'll groggily stand, rubbing my eyes. A moment, I'll stand and dress myself quickly,
You
and then I'll
dress,
head to the door.
stepping over Kanzi's sleeping form. You come to the door, throwing it wide in the golden hour of the morning. You stare down the small man who waits nervously before you. You recognize the badge on his right shoulder, a small sigil clasped into his chainmail coat. A physician, one of some repute, the head physician of your brother's personal guard. He averts his eyes and then deferently lowers his head down into the floor, prostrating himself before you.
I look down at him, still a hand on the door as I hold it open. Why have you come so early?
He looks up, taking the moment to straighten himself back up and stand. A matter of some quiet importance. Oh, revered one, may I
Okay.
enter?
Come. I'll open the door, kind of cutting him off some and waving him in. Still kind of tired from the morning, waking up still.
He steps in behind you slowly, carefully, and closes the door behind him. He has the sense of him of a man who likes cleanliness. Everything from his nails to his hair to the chainmail to the brooch on his chest, all burnished and well kept. Tidy, neat. Then he speaks quietly. I wished to bring you word. I had sent it, at first, to the revered one's own quarters, the mighty Halan Azar. But he has yet to answer. I wish to bring my observations before you, Divine Duena.
Please do. Please. My brother is a very busy individual, and his mind is in so many places that sometimes he forgets such mundanities.
The man
Please,
stares
tell me.
down to the stranger on the floor and then speaks quieter. I'm not sure if it would be right to do so in front of this foreigner.
I'll hold a hand out. It is fine. He is harmless, both in mind and action. Pay him no mind.
Man nods slowly and then, gaining a bit more of his composure, Revered Duena, I have 3 men in my medical bay in the East Wing right now. All of them with the same symptoms. Profusely high temperatures. They can't hold anything down, he says slowly, thinking about it. To put it nicely, they are... He grimaces then, searching for the word to be couth. Dysentery. But not normal. This is more rapacious. They are
Not
withering.
normal.
It is not simply a case of, well, bad meat. They were out on leave a few days hence, and on returning, 2 of them collapsed in the dining chambers. They were brought to me under consideration for care. I am afraid that they may have been poisoned, he says quietly.
It is a
Something
grave
nasty, too.
concern. If they did catch this sickness while on leave and they were out about the town, doing as soldiers do, they might have had themselves a dirty drink or food that the Durant had touched too thoroughly with something to be rid of them. This is not good either way.
My concerns, do I not lie, with the fact that it will be impossible to ascertain whether the collapse occurred due to an infiltration of our own staff or an outside presence. Do you catch my meaning? A sensitive
Indeed.
situation.
If it were in the staff, though, then
There would have been more.
more.
Unless
And these
this
men
was a test.
Yeah, they would have. Well, perhaps the fact that they were on leave, maybe that is just well a red herring. Maybe. It's a difficult situation.
This man is a physician, after all. Shrewd, blunt, and good at, well, making things out of what he sees. Still, he seems a bit conspiratorial in his tone. That comes through almost instantly. It should also be said that through this conversation, he's wringing his hands, something which you become aware of. Nervous, anxious.
I'll eye him up and down, straightening my back then and looking at him. And what do you think should be done about this?
He thinks for a second. Firstly, I must inform you that my care will not be sufficient. I cannot cure them. They will die. They have sought to seek Aushata. I had sent this regard to your revered brother. But, as you said, he has been busy with many things.
Yes.
If they do not seek Aushata before they pass. He grimaces. Their souls will be muddied.
Yes. I will speak to my brother post-haste about this matter, due to it being so sensitive of time.
Yes, Divine One, he says, nodding, a bit more brightness in his eyes, bowing. I thank you.
Are these men capable of speaking? Are they well enough to
One is.
account for themselves?
Though he has been incoherent, he has said a few words. Would you like to attend him? Perhaps the radiance of a divine Koshani might bring more clarity to him.
I think I would like to do so, yes.
The physician
I will tell my
nods.
brother to expedite their finding of Aushata, and then I will come. When is a good time at the infirmary?
He thinks for a second. Later this evening, I think. They do not stir during the heat and aridness of the day, but during the evening when it gets cooler, the one wakes. I apply him with salves, medications, fresh water at that time. It's become almost a pattern in the past 3 days, so I would say then is the best time, revered one.
All right. I'll think on my schedule as well. I have much to do in the morning and such today, and then it's also been 5 days since Katsu's been let out, so the other people should be arriving today, should they not, to interrogate him.
That would be on the 5th day. Let me see. Walked with him in the hall. No, that would be tomorrow. 3 and 1.
Okay.
That would be 3 and 1, so we're on 4. 4th day. So tomorrow,
Okay.
yes.
So I don't have much to do in the evening then?
No. No.
Okay. Yeah, I'll nod to the fishers and then. Very well. I'll be there this evening. Expect me.
Thank you, my Lord Duina. Reverend Divine. He bows several times, scraping his forehead against the stone in obeisance. Behind you, Kotzi chuckles. He came awake at some time, who knows when. What he heard or didn't hear, who can say? But the man in front of you becomes starkly pale, and then quickly turns to make his way towards the door with as much grace as he can muster in his shaken state.
I'll quickly close the door behind him after he leaves, and I'll turn and look to Katsi.
Poisoners in the keep, poisoners without.
But how will one determine the difference?
Hmm.
Will you interrogate
Yes.
every chef, every bartender, both in your employ and without?
No, I don't think I will. I think I'll ask the soldier what I can from him, and, well, I will not let paranoia strike this castle. Going on some wild hunt for somebody spitting in food or pissing on meat is not going to do me much good, is it? Those men suffered some dysentery. If it happens again, I'll look into it more thoroughly.
I thought that your men were forbidden to go into the Dern folks' bars and homesteads on a matter of prudence. It seems that even they cannot control themselves.
That is a painfully obvious fact to me. My brother, the largest example of it all. They will seek their
Men,
just deserts.
men will take after their leaders. What kind of leader is your brother?
One who desires the world but has not the grit or will to claim it, I believe. I'll shrug at him.
There was a woman in your chambers yesterday while you were gone. I could smell her. The scent of her was rich.
Really?
He nods.
Smell sickly sweet? Hot, even?
He shakes his head.
No. No.
She smelt of those blossoms that your people so revere. As though that is the only perfume that you Koshani can bear to place upon yourselves.
I do not think it offends my nose as much as it might yours, because I am used to it. She was in my chambers doing what exactly?
I think,
Cleaning.
I heard the movement of something rustling like cloth on stone. I heard the movement of platters, the one from yesterday's meal being lifted and shifted. Perhaps a chambermaid. But it's the first one that I've heard in your room. I just wanted to let you know.
Are you going to regale my ears with the news of every chambermaid who comes into my quarters to clean it?
If it keeps you informed, I might have to.
If only I had fingers I could make a ledger, even blind.
Yes. Maybe we can find a way for somebody to write for you in the future. But I think the chambermaid you speak of is perhaps even the sightless, tongueless one that I was given into my care. Her name is Arha. Yes.
Yes. The poor, wretched thing. It would
Or
explain
wretched indeed.
the strange sounds it was making. Like a fox choking on its own tongue.
Or maybe that's just how women care to speak to you.
He cackles at that. Women. I fear that even the thought of women is so far removed from me now. Perhaps one might ride me, as a man rides a horse. Perhaps you could sew leather onto my stumps. I would make a great toy for your sons and daughters. He mimics himself on all fours, his stubs on the ground.
Very amusing. I might put you to such use depending on how you conduct yourself in the future. I'll stand then from my bed and go to get ready, making sure I have everything I need for the day.
Another knock at the door while you are preparing yourself. Another visitor outside.
I look to Kodsi, exhaling.
He
What do you think
holds
it is
up
now?
his stubs. Who knows?
It is not as though I can get the door for you.
The thought crossed my mind as well. Grinning, I'll walk over to the door, opening it quickly and then staring out at whoever seeks me.
The Koshani steward of the second Gan stands there. He bows politely. No need for obeisance. And then he addresses you. Revered Duina, I have been sent to inform you regarding a meeting you have been asked to attend.
I am just about ready to attend it. Is it now?
He nods slowly. Yes.
Give
It
me a
has
mere moment and
started
then...
earlier in the day. You were to be informed on the you were to be informed yesterday, but unfortunately it seems other appointments got in the way. Your father has sent me to rectify this mistake on his behalf.
Very well. I'll say, just leaving the door open, I will go and finish cleaning myself up. And then once I have done so, I will look down to Katsi. Care to come with?
I am to attend you wherever you go.
Secret meetings are a part of everywhere, unless I
Yes.
am very mistaken.
If it's so secret that you have to stand outside the door, then that is what you will do. But we will not know until we arrive. Come.
You follow after the man, following the steward as he guides you to the meeting chamber. A new meeting chamber, it should be said. A smaller affair in the east wing, not more towards the center of the keep and the great tower there. When you arrive before the door, you find no guardsmen outside, no indication that anything is happening within. The steward gently opens the door for you, nodding.
I will step in.
Step into the chamber, slowly. You find in attendance your father, your brother, Jolab, Talib, Ralaz, and the strange woman that accompanies Ralaz. The two Vowns are not present as they are off propagating the Tavern conquest, and Corlin is also absent.
I will enter the chambers, walking my way around the table to find my righteous place beside my brother, if he is present.
You sit down to the right of your brother, he to the right of your father. Halaskir turns to you and nods once before looking away.
And we are almost all gathered.
Good. You do not find yourselves initiating into the meeting at once, but instead, casual conversation between your father and Jolab goes on. Your brother turns to you. This is the earliest meeting we've had yet. I swear soon we'll be having them in the middle of the night.
The world does not wait for us to make decisions and deliberations on whatever comes our way.
Father is not in a right mood, I will warn. We had requested your ban show again. The man accepted and then didn't.
I think it's some kind of game. I think he's toying with us, humiliating us in his own way, protesting us. Or maybe there's somebody else who has yet to inform him correctly. Maybe our messengers are being intercepted.
Perhaps.
The men we told to go see him.
Some say that he is a mystic. Some kind of holy man. Why do you think they call him the Dark Hand?
Some damned to toward prophecy or musing that makes no sense, I imagine.
Do you think the Durant are capable of such grand ideas as prophecy? Their religion seems to consist of burning themselves before their great tower and wailing like women giving birth.
You make a fine point there, brother.
He nods. The conversation between Jolab and Halaskir ends abruptly as Halaskir turns towards the door, and then the commanding voice, "Where is your ban?" He directs this at Talib, who, startled, turns. "I am unsure, Lord. He was sent for, and his messenger was curt and to the point. He would be attending. He even gave back the time of attendance." Your father slams his fist on the table, shaking it, rattling the small accoutrements across its surface. Ralaz lifts a hand toward your father, a calming gesture. "Perhaps it would be best if we simply start without the man." Is there anything you would like to do in the meantime?
I'll look up to my father, eyeing him, getting a sense of how he's doing today and how he's taking this insult.
A twitch in his left eye. A bad omen. Spasms once, twice, 3 times, and then he calms himself. He lets his fist off the table and then nods to Ralaz. Very well. Then we shall be about it. He turns to you and your brother. First off, is there anything to report? He says to you.
I'll look to my brother, eyeing him. I will give him a slight shake of my head just to make sure. And before I speak, you there?
Yeah, you said before you speak.
Yeah, I said I will look to my brother and give him a slight shake of my head just to make sure we have nothing to say before I speak.
He gives nothing in
Is what I meant.
response. Just staring at the wall.
I will stand then, looking at my father. Nothing to report for today.
He nods. Good. No news. And then he turns to Talib. You were in charge of the eastern quarter. Have you brought it under your control fully? Talib nods slowly. There has been some difficulty. Mostly, well, with the Dark Hands, but outside of a few distraught sailors and some angry merchants that, well, have less than kind words about your new enforced tariffs, there has been little pushback. Divine One. Father then turns to Jolab. And you, the southern quarter, the gates, have they been secured? Have they been prepared for the host we may receive? Jolab swallows slowly and then, Yes, yes, they have, my lord. They have been prepared. There they shout the praises of the divine Koshani and his resplendence. He smiles. They drink toasts to you. Mighty Azar. He bows at that. Father then turns to look to you. And, of the ledgers, any headway?
Have I made any headway on the ledgers in recent days? Have I had the time?
You've been consumed with your training, which has almost doubled in its length of time with the Majut. Ejak has been ruthless, you've had no time.
No new information.
Your father nods slowly. Very well. He gives a slight flick of his eyes towards your brother. Something less than pleasant before he turns back to Ralaz. How does the stock and provision look? Ralaz goes over the numbers, providing an estimate of their stores for the upcoming winter. Him and father slowly talk back and forth on the matter, Jolab being consulted as well. Slowly, the three begin to work out a way to help support the dwindling stock. Many of the farms have been left untended, their lords sent to the colonies, those that once had helped the productivity of such places no longer manned. Near the middling of this meeting, your father again twitches and slams his fist on the table. He doesn't speak, just glares around the room. And then, where is Gorban? He looks between Talib and Jolab then, the two dirt men shrinking in their chairs. Where is that fucking mystic? Your brother swallows next to you.
I will stand, making my presence known, so my father can see me.
Turns to look at you.
Father, I believe it's an insult. He seeks to humiliate you. Let me go with a man or two to go and rouse him from his residence and bring him here to this meeting so that he has no more excuses to make.
At that, your father nods, and then loudly. And there is the initiative I seek. Not groveling, but action. Choice. You have my leave. Take what men and what supplies you need. You have full leave of the keep. He nods. See it done. In the meantime, he says, turning to your brother, you are without Duina. You shall speak for yourself now. Brother
I
gives
will
you a side look and then turns back.
I will stand then, and I will make my way around the table to, who's the man he keeps asking about where Korban is?
Talib.
Talib.
He is the
I will go.
Tavish convert.
I will go over to where he's sitting, and over his shoulder, I'll whisper in his ear. Where can I find Korban? Where does he stay?
Talib swallows, and turning. The man is entrenched in the north quarter, nearest to the tower. He lives there in the Black District, where the buildings are constructed around the slivers of the tower which have erupted from the ground. It's impossible to miss.
Say entrenched as if he's barricaded himself in there and refuses to come out. Well, I will make him.
It is a difficult place to traverse, Divine One. The city in that portion is like a maze. That's why he is so integral. He is able to control it.
Well, for the safety of the city, your name and his, let us all hope that we find him soon. I'll smile, and then kind of nod my head to my angry father, and I will depart from the room then.
You step out of the chamber, Kotzi in tow. Once the door is shut, Kotzi speaks. It seems as though your father is surrounded by incompetence. I heard that Halaskir Razar was named the Fist of Kosh. Where are his 4 generals? The Roshi lieutenants, why do they not attend his meetings of state?
I'll think about that myself. Why are they not here? Are they all conquering the other cities?
You are unaware of all of their places. You think on it. One is at ship. His place is as your father's seamaster. Currently, he is in charge of the galleons making their way to the colonies and back, so he is not here. The one-handed master of your father's standard finds his place among the guardsmen, a captain there. His duties requiring him often, but he would be able to attend. Why he is not in attendance, who can say? The one they call Azul. You have only seen him maybe twice in all your years. He is an enigma, not one to show himself easily or often. You think you've never even heard him speak, let alone act, but by all accounts, he is your father's torturer. As for the last, Ahar Barib, he should be at your father's side almost always. You have never seen the man not near to the hip of your father like a Dwemer. He is, of course, your father's personal guard, his chief confidant. But he has been dreadfully lacking from the picture of late, as though he has almost vanished.
The only answer that I can provide is that of integration. This council is not a real council. It is just to pull all these people in closer to the center of power. All the people who are competent and able to do something are out doing it right now, not talking in a hall.
Then why does your father have you at these meetings?
Your brother, I understand. The sycophants as well. And that Ralaz, he stinks. Have you smelt it?
Yes. Though I think it not him. I think it the girl at his side.
One of them is in Alu, Kotzi says, grinning, showing all his teeth.
Mm.
One of them. Well,
We will speak of this no more in the halls. They have ears.
he
I have a
nods.
task set to me. You will be attending me on it.
Of course, my lord.
We're going to go rouse a couple of men and then head into the city, the north quarters specifically.
Will you beat and bash your way through the crowds of Durnfolk about the tower? He says, grinning. Do you think a mess of men more advantageous? Perhaps an army?
Not now. Now I just need to find one man, not rouse many.
He nods.
This Korban Darkhand, whoever he may be, a mystic.
I keep saying his
He's
name.
entrenched
It's
himself.
Yorban. You say Korban because of Star Wars. Korriban is Star Wars, but his name is Yorban.
Yeah. This Yorban Darkhand has entrenched himself in the quarter, and I need to pull him out, lest I look as incompetent as the rest of those sitting in that room.
And who will you choose for this task? Who can be spared?
I'll think about that for a moment.
You have your own personal guard, it should be said. Both you and your brother, all Koshani have their personal guard. Your number's about 24. All fit, all Vroshi, all of high Vroshi caste and standing, all have seen campaigns, all have been part of your father's conquests. You would not be given anything less. You do not know their names, as it is not right for you to know the names of Vroshi.
Do I know of any men who have made similar leaves into the city as the ones who were sickened?
Not off the top of your head, but you could inquire if you had time, of course. Might be a line of inquiry required for that kind of thing.
But who to inquire with? I will return to my guard then. I'll see if I can't find where they would be stationed. Some of them at least.
Your personal guardsmen are stationed near to your room. As Dwemer and as Nameless, they do not attend you at all times. They tend to attend you quietly. I think it's been said before you could hear them following you down and up the hall, but always out of eyeshot and out of eyeshot but not earshot. A few sessions ago it was mentioned that you could hear guardsmen following you, as they do.
I will approach these guardsmen then.
You begin to walk, listening for that so subtle of sounds. When at last you catch the drift of one of the guardsmen near, you signal in the way which you have. A simple whistle, a clicking of the tongue. The man appears. He is dressed darkly, robes that come down to his feet almost like a priest. The guardsmen of Halim always have been so. They are not fit for heavy combat, but instead hide like shadows.
Hmm.
The Azalta, they are called. This one bows before you. You can see the long knife at his waist, 2 of them, about half the size of a short sword. He lifts his veiled head. Trainer,
I have need of you and the rest of the Azalta.
he nods
I
slowly.
need to go into the northern quarter of the city, post haste, and I need men who are familiar with the city to accompany me. Those who have left the castle, gone on leave, furloughs, even if it is unbeknownst, they will not be punished for such a thing. I have need of their aid in this time.
He nods. A few among us have done so. To scout. To understand. I will call them. The voice is
Thank
almost
you.
feminine. The Azalta then vanishes, disappearing as quickly as they came, moving down the hall silently. Kotzi seems a bit taken aback. Not quite all right.
I'll give him an eye, sort of wondering his meaning. Not quite all right, how?
You can smell the blood. Can you
I'll
not?
smell the air then, trying to pick up on what he's speaking of.
Roll. Yeah, your bonuses. Very well.
65 plus
Keep a
15.
roll. Keep a roll.
I'll keep.
You have 2
That is
currently.
a
Yeah, you have 2 currently.
Yeah, that is a 70, or no, that's an 80 overall.
Very well.
If we're using outer senses, yeah.
Yes.
I'll keep.
Okay. You do smell it faintly. That metallic tang. That scent of blood. It came from them. The one you just spoke with.
Fresh.
Yes.
Interesting. Thank you for alerting me of such a thing.
He nods.
What do you think it to mean?
In my poring over the pages of the Kalishna, I found a passage on the Azalta. They are carved with a mark similar to your own. Whenever it heals, it is reopened. Though it is not the same magnificent piece that adorns you. It's much smaller. It reminds them of their service to the Prince of Blessed Suffering.
Though we smell their own blood, not that of men that they have bled.
He nods. I must have misled. I was merely startled that the Kalishna was accurate in this regard. I thought it too brutal and barbaric a practice to be real.
Though you are under my protection, you best hold your tongue. If somebody overhears you speaking in such a way, well,
Will you cut it off? He says, grinning. What next?
no.
My
But if
nose.
somebody takes your life because of that, well then, your alt is mine, as my father said.
Take my life. And at that, he does laugh. You don't understand, Duiner. I'm immortal. Luck is on my side. He lifts up his stumps. A holy man, a martyr for a cause.
Stifling a grin and the urge to laugh at the man, I'll look up and down the hall, awaiting my Azalta to attend to me.
A whisper. A shift. Soft silk against your skin as the man kneels near to you. I have found a guide. They will take you, but only if you go alone. We will attend, but in silence. He says reassuringly, you will not be in alone in truth. But he says that none enter the northern quarter armed without the Dark Hand's personal acceptance.
Well, let us hope that they accept us. And you will serve me better in the shadows, not at my side. Do as you will. Keep an eye over me.
Yes.
We go now.
Prince. Azalta slips away again. A man walks down the hallway, looking a bit shaken, as you yourself move. When he sees you, he bows in obeisance, and then, I have been summoned. He looks to be a
Yes.
guardsman, younger, stouter, still fresh, green. Tufts of his hair uneven, peering out from beneath his cap.
Yes, I have summoned you. A most urgent matter that must be seen to post haste. Now. You have made furloughs into the city. Have you not?
Nods slowly. Yes, Divine One. Your guardsman told me you needed a guide to the northern quarter.
Yes, I do. Do you feel yourself equipped enough in your knowledge of this place and having left the castle to attend to me such?
He prostrates himself. I, God, would be more than willing to do this for you, Divine One. Allow me to be your eyes.
Good. We go now. Me or you and my mouth. I'll look him up and down.
What?
Let us go.
I can't be a set of legs. He moves after you.
Because you talk.
I do, don't I?
That is until at least the time I decide to take your tongue.
Will you take my legs next? Will I have to roll my way around these corridors? Like some sort of flesh tumbleweed.
No, I look forward to the day that in your madness you decide to make a dash for it. So I will leave you your legs.
You're not. Perhaps I will make a dash for it just for the humor of that. The man in front of you, Kaj, swallows and doubles his pace. You follow.
I will follow.
You make your way, following along. And then you come to the great gate of the Durnt Hold. You find it there, open. Several guards stationed outside. A windy day, by all accounts. But pleasant. You can hear the sound of the shore. Somewhere distant calling. The sea there, gray and quiet. The world still. Almost peaceful. The silence of the city deafening.
I'll take it all in. Probably one of my real first times seeing it.
You take in Karad, for the first time truly looking at it from the inside, and not from some great vantage. It's a strange thing. The layout is so clean, on an almost perfect grid. The small clay square houses lined neatly in perfect lines. The roads paved with cobbles. Everything is honestly grand in its construction. None of it, however, built by the Durnt. Refurbished, yes. Repaired, yes. But this was not built by Durnt hands. This is not Durnt construction or planning. And there, you see the tower lifting like a grim monolith. You can see the places where its shards and spikes curve out of the ground about it, twisting up and into it like a helix of darkness. There are places in the northern quarter that coincide with this uplifting of strange spikes and pinnacles.
Hmm.
You first step
As we
down. Go ahead.
as we walk, I'll talk to the guide in front of us.
You address Kosh.
So, Kosh, what do you get up to when you come down here? I promise not to tell anyone.
I was sent, he says slowly, by the guard captain to procure more stock. We were running low. Fish, wine, and then he swallows. For the physician, he needs to boil it for the bandages. He is afraid of sickness. I was sent to procure as I was the youngest. The task was put on me.
Some of your fellows who have made leave into the city similarly, well, they have found themselves with a bit of sickness overcoming them, likely from eating bad food or drink given to them by the Durnt folk. I would be careful how you interact with them when you come down here.
He nods nervously. I have heard, Divine One. They say that they are dying horrible deaths, even now. They say it is the judgment of Louthi, he says quietly.
It is no divine judgment. It is no great punishment. I doubt it is even poison. It is merely just a severe sickness. We are not used to this terrain, this place. It is getting to all of us in our own ways. We must be strong and commit ourselves to our tasks, despite how treacherous this place can be.
Yes, Divine One, says Kaj nervously.
I will look into the matter, though. The physician has roused me of the happenings. Plan to visit those men this night, give them comfort, send them on their way.
Kaj nods. A just decision, Divine One.
I'll continue to walk with him to the city, eyeing the buildings and the streets, the people within them, and
it should be
all
said
of that until we reach the quarters.
That the streets are narrow, well constructed. Even the alleyways are of similar width to the main road. Everything's so symmetrical. And then it shifts, changing. An odd break here. An erosion of symmetry there. The shapes of walls change and melt around twisted rock. And then, in an instant, you find yourself surrounded. 7, maybe 8 Durnt folk. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing black robes. silver masks on their faces. Around their waists are red, long pieces of silk which twist about their waists and their hands as they twist them. The one at the forefront has blue marks on his mask. He stares at you. The mask itself is a raptor's head, its beak burnished and sharp.
And they're blocking our path.
Yes.
I'll step forward then, unbothered by them surrounding me. Who are you? What need of me do you have? Or do you simply block my path for no reason?
The man makes a strange twisting symbol with the hand and then speaks. Children of the Maelstrom, Koshani. Servants of Yorban. Why does it go Go ahead.
Maybe you can help me then, servant of Yorban. I seek him out. He has been requested to come to my father's meetings time and time again, and my father's ire grows short.
You seek.
I have been sent to seek him.
You seek the Dark Hand.
Yes.
The
Yorban,
man.
the Dark Hand, the mystic.
The man lifts his hand and points. You will find him there, Koshan. He seeks the Maelstrom.
I'll turn and follow his finger.
He points to the tower.
And getting an audience with him will be as simple as walking up those steps.
If the door is open, perhaps.
Very well. I'll look to my guide then and nod my head in the direction of the tower.
The guide swallows. You can see one of his hands is shaking a little bit as he stares at the tower. Even you can feel its weight. A strange vibration on the air, a dimming of the light about it, a bleakening of the color in its shadow, which casts in every direction. The sun behind it eclipsed. The strange man with his red scarf tucked about his waist lowers his hand then. I wish you luck, Koshani. May you seek the Maelstrom.
I need more than luck. I need him to be there. For your sake and mine. I'll look at the man one last time, and then I'll quickly turn and start walking towards the tower. I'll wave Kosh along with me.
Kaj follows. He turns to you. Divine One. You see the scarves about their waists, long braids of silk.
Yes, I did.
It's said that the priests of Korban do not shed blood. They strangle their victims. But how
So much
one...
for the pacifism that I've heard about among their people. Of course, they have ways of resorting to violence.
I've heard that Yorban's people are anything but pacifists. They were the ones... Well... He swallows. It is said that traitors to your father's power and will were delivered to the tower by Yorban. Their necks broken, their bodies twisted, bones broken perfectly beneath skin, so not even a drop of blood shed, just pooled under it. He shudders. Some of the men in the guard barracks told me about it. They had to move some of the bodies. The dirt folk were getting agitated.
I imagine so. Most frightening account, I would imagine. I do not fear, though.
Of course not, Divine One. But I do. I do not have His Holiness's resolve. I am merely Vroshi.
Yes, a warrior. I know that we are not alone. We are joined by other warriors, though you may not see them. They aid us yet. Now steel yourself. We go to the tower.
He swallows. Slowly, you begin to approach that tower. That dark monolith grows ever near. You don't feel like you're walking towards it anymore. You feel like you're falling into it, as though you are traversing towards a chasm beneath you. The tower below you, a widening crack in the earth, growing and growing. A dark void swallowing you feet first. Roll a D100.
Come on.
It is not showing. Okay. There we go. Would you like to take a reroll, or would you like to keep? You have a reset soon, and you'll lose your second.
I'll go ahead and reroll
Because you can
then.
only keep 2.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and spend that reroll.
Very well.
It has to be 86 or higher, right?
Let me see what bonus you are applying. It's very specific here. Let me call up our pinned real quick. This will fall under... Yeah, this will be a 15.
15, okay. But on my reroll, it has to be above an 86
yes,
to count, right?
You are correct.
94.
94. Very well. You feel yourself riding then, pulling yourself back to reality. The crushing weight of the tower lifting from you as something takes hold. You come then to the great wall erected about the tower, a wooden construction, a fort made by the Tavishmen. No Koshani would dare man it. None of the Koshani will even get close to the tower, for your people know it as well as the Durnt, though you have no name for it. It was here when you came, here when you conquered. Something you could not remove, could not break, could not destroy. Although all accounts point towards the fact that you tried and tried. A Tavish guardsman meets you at the edge of the fort, hailing you in, calling you to stop. Who comes before the fort of the Idavar? He says in a nasal accent of his people.
I am nameless, but heed me well. I am the blood of Halaskir.
He looks you up and down, taking in your skin, and then steps back, nodding. Koshani, I did not mean to insult. Another man comes up beside him, a captain by the badge. He turns and looks at the man and then dismisses him with a wave of his hand and walks up near to you. His mustache is luxurious, thin and twisted into a spiral, in the Tavish fashion. His beard long and pointed, neatly kept. His eyes somber, his face sunk, his nose broad. Young Goshan, I am a captain of this station. How might I be of service? This place is off limits to all but those who have authorization to enter.
And I have been authorized. I am on the will of my father. I come seeking your Bundark hand.
The adjunct warden has sent you. He nods then. Then you are most authorized. He bows, lifting his head. Your ban He spits after he says the name. Has ascended the steps. One of the few given clemency to do so.
Good. I'm glad that he is here. I will ascend behind him, and I will bring him to my father, for his ire grows most tumultuous at his absence and refusal to attend the meetings he has been summoned. May I pass?
You may, though I give a warning. Many among my men, on rash dare or daring bravery or stupidity, have tried to ascend those steps. A few have died. There is something about the tower, he whispers, that refutes our advances.
I heed your warning. I shall see. I'll look over to Kosh at my side. Stay here and await my return.
Kaj nods grimly. And then you step through the entrance which has been opened in the fort wall. It should be said that it has been placed 2 blocks around the tower. These houses are unlived in, abandoned. Empty shells like some desolate and apocalyptic wasteland. No sight of a single soul stirs within them. This is during the curfew hour, early this morning, before the midday prayer, which will rush in soon. You have maybe an hour, maybe 2, and then priests will ascend their way to the foot of the tower to give worship, to give up offerings, in the small amount of time they have been allotted. You begin to feel... Go ahead.
Good. I will make haste then, up those steps and ascend.
You have to make your way to the tower first.
I'll go to the tower then.
Yes. You begin to make the trek. Slowly, you feel the weight of it. Not like a physical weight, no, more like a claustrophobic hand pushing down on your shoulder. Kotzi seems unfazed, walking beside you.
We near, ever closer.
He looks up at it.
Are you sure this is wise?
Standing in the shadow of it. I don't even know what to say.
It doesn't seem real, does it? As though it is cast from a different place and time.
Yes. Time long ago. Perhaps even before my name came here. So many hundreds of years ago. They claimed to it.
It is said he crushed the city and rebuilt it. That he and Halan and his lover ruled over it. It is said, well, he conquered one city.
Alaskir conquered the rest. He and Aushlan together. They slew Durnt in the thousands, bathing their blood across the cobbles.
How far have we gone since those glorious days?
Kotzi shakes his head. How far has the world gone? It feels as though it has passed on. The world that once was, now lost. Things like this are merely a remnant of it. But if this is what the world once was, then I am glad we have moved past it.
Nonetheless, I must conquer these steps as I once did. Today? Care to join me? Or do you think you'll fall?
Kotzi grins. Shall I walk before you, or behind you?
I will lead.
I will not be able to catch you if you fall, he says, lifting up his stubs.
Does not really matter then, does it?
He grins. It does not seem it does.
You come at last before the foot of the tower, the threshold, and there you have to stop for a second as you view what has been left here. Corpses strewn, naked, stripped of cloth or gold, and teeth as well, plucked from their mouths. Eyes stare upwards, shriveled skin twisted, the smell of rot about them, but no flies can be seen, not a single larvae moving through the rotted flesh. These bodies are still. A circle of them around the circumference of the dark tower, like a warding circle, a sethril of flesh. Other bodies lie here too, animals, some with throats cut, their entrails pulled out, cleaned, only the bodies left behind, as though an offering.
I think the world would be better if we moved on from all of this. You might have a point, Katsi.
For such a peaceful people, they commit such violence.
Indeed. A queer conundrum. One to contemplate another day. I'll look to the steps.
The steps are large, and by that I mean that they come almost to your waist, each one. All around them are the jagged points of shards twisting up and into the tower, forming its body. Some are broken in places. A fall could be lethal. If one was to sway or to fall to either side of the steps, they would die, or be pierced by so many holes as to die soon.
Swallow then, looking at them all. I'll move over to the first step, testing it, placing one foot up, pulling it back down. I'll envision the picture of me doing that in my mind, give it the same kind of focus that I've given the stone in practice in the prior days before. Just focus my entire being intent on the act of making it up this tower safely.
A D100, I'll give you an extra +5 on top of your physical ability. You may choose to roll physical, or you may choose to roll your outer sense. Either one is applicable here.
I think it's a 20 either way. So
You may choose which one you feel you want to rely on then.
with my description, I'll go with outer sense.
Okay,
This is a
because
test
they
of
have
the mind.
they have different drains. Go ahead.
Yeah. We'll roll a D100.
Okay.
91.
Against. Okay.
That's 111.
You begin.
The first step. Easy at first. You pull yourself up it and onto it. Katsi puts his stubs onto it and then pulls himself up with his elbows, swinging his leg over like a man striding a horse. What? He says then, and grins, looking to the next.
Swallow and do the next one. Focusing not on the fact that there might be thousands more ahead, but the fact that we are overcoming one at a time, each an individual challenge in of itself, breaking the bigger picture down into smaller bits.
You begin to do so. It's a difficult task. Go ahead and roll. Would you like to reroll?
I will reroll.
You have 2 currently. All right.
Ugh.
I'll DM reroll that for now. So I have none left. Good thing I did. Okay. Very well. Okay.
84.
You pull yourself over the next step. It's strangely light, as though the weight of the tower has no longer descended upon you in this moment. When you reach the top of the second step, Kotzi turns, straining a little bit. Strange, is it not? He nods to the steps.
So perfectly carved. So human.
And then he looks to the tower. But not this. This is dark, twisted.
I don't even know what to make of it all. Other than that, I'm going to make it up these steps today.
Kotzi turns and looks. There are 217 steps. You must be mad. But I guess I am too, he says, making his way over towards the third one. Begins pulling himself up it.
You are quite mad when you agreed to follow me. You've been sitting in a cell. Your body's wasted away. Sitting on the floor, walking around halls. I've been training every single day. It'll be much easier on me than it will be you. Turn back, if you want.
No, he says with conviction. As I descend, I must ascend, he says to himself, and then you make your way to the third step. You may roll. Very well.
Yep.
You manage to pull yourself up. Not too difficult, but neither is it easy. Then a fifth, then a sixth, 10. Slight fatigue in the muscles then. Kotzi as well seems a bit fatigued.
I'll do my best to focus on the movements, of pacing myself, of trying to expend the least amount of energy as I can to make each step, so that I have enough to reach the end.
You move slowly now. Roll, you still have the same bonus. See what the roll against is. Duly noted. 10 steps. 20. The weight gets heavier. Not the physical, that crushing feeling on the top of your shoulders. You feel the back splitting open, blood dripping down your waist and onto your legs.
I'll stop for a second, sort of feeling the blood coming down my back.
You are on the 24th step. Kotzi lays back and then points with his stub.
There is another unfortunate one who walked our path.
A twisted skeleton, a spike protruding from its mouth up and through its ribcage where it fell. Then you see it, more layered here and there. The bodies of those who fell off the sides, or cast themselves. Who can say?
Oh, it's dreadful. I will not renege on my act, though. I'll see it through. Just work through the pain. Hurt.
You
Let's go
continue.
for it.
You may roll against the crushing weight. Let me roll against. Duly noted. Would you like to
reroll.
reroll? This will be your last reroll for now. Well, it's a good roll. 30 steps. 40. At 50, you feel your muscles scream, your mind nearly going blank. A strangeness has descended around you, a silence. The sound of the wind is gone, though you can feel it in your hair, smell it, the scent of the sea. It still lies there, but the sound of it is gone. Something else. A small creeping in your muscles, a cold sense of something shivering. Not the heat and pain that was there before, but something more malignant. Kotze, as well, has kept pace. His muscles have not degraded. He simply lacks hands, something which makes his task more difficult, but he was a spry and muscular man before. He turns to look at you.
Do you feel it?
He looks up at the tower. Yes. There is a question you have not asked. How is it that I have moved in such a straight line?
He grins.
I'll look at Katsu and kind of look at the steps up and down, the way we came, the way we have to go.
Simple. I've listened to your ragged breathing. Are you sure this is something you want to continue? I will not persuade you out of it.
We'll continue.
He nods, breathing harsh. You come to the next step. You may roll.
I'll let that chill in my bones just kind of become a part of me. Give myself away to it.
You are
Let
down,
that feeling, let the pain, let me carry it up those
down to
steps
a
as I keep
plus
on going.
15 at the moment. Go ahead. The 5's dropped. Very well. You continue. 65. 70. On 73, you have to stop for a moment. Stop and turn to look. The world around you is tiny. You can see it, as though from this distance, your own room. You know the bed is there. You know the hall that connects to it. You can see the retaining wall of the keep. You're almost above it now, almost taller than the middling towers of that place.
I'll look out over it all for a moment, and then I will swallow. I'll steel myself and look at my path before me.
The math.
I will...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The math is simple enough. If one was to calculate it, you would be almost 230 feet now. Not even halfway up.
I'll shut out the rest of the world and continue nonetheless, focusing on just these steps and my goal to reach the top.
Very well. You continue. One after the other. That coldness swarms through you then, reaching into your fingertips, the very tip of your nose till it tingles. 90, 94, 95, 96. It is then you must stop again, unable to continue for the moment as your body screams. Kotze, drenched in sweat, lays his head back on the stone and stares at the dark sky, the light blotted out by the tower's expanse.
It should be noted that
The steps do not lead to the height of the tower, merely one of the entrances into its depths. He gasps out between breaths.
Well, thank you for telling me that now. Hopefully we'll reach the fucking entrance.
You ever stop to contemplate the purpose of your life? Up here it all seems so small.
You say that like you can see what's below. Look at it all.
Look
I
at
can't believe I walk around down there in that castle. It feels like a true child's toy from up here. Oh,
where I come from. There are great safeholds that are near the side of this tower, carved into the sides of mountains, as vast as the ocean. But never could I remember a time where reaching the top of one was such a task.
I think there's something more at play here. The way this thing is built, just the grandeur of it. It's not just crushing of the soul and the mind, it's all of it. It's made to bring you low.
Have you ever spoken with a mountain man before? They say the higher you go, the harder it is to breathe, the thinner the air. They train for weeks to get used to the feel of it. Those who aren't pass out.
Let me just breathe. Or learn how to, quickly. I'll take a moment or two, trying to just regather myself, catch my breath, stop my heart from pumping so quickly, focus on that little stone that I've been pondering over for so many days.
Roll a d100. You have a plus 15. Roll good. Thank you. So you just have to ask. You turn to the stone. The steps have become a bit more shallow now, you see. Perhaps a foot shorter. No, maybe a
Stay close to
less.
the wall. The steps, I think they're getting thinner.
They also become longer. And now there's a slight slope to them. Not harsh, but slight. You continue. 120. 117. 122 steps. And then you feel a burning in your chest which rips through the cold. Around you, the air becomes so thin it's hard to see through. Your eyes water. And it almost seems as though you're drifting in the clouds. Something wisps by you. Mist. Wind. A tuft of cloud. Who knows? You hear something then. Footsteps. Coming from above you. The sound of boots on stone.
I'll look up, seeing those.
A man
Listening.
approaches. On his face, he wears no mask like his compatriots. His features are grim, scarred. One of his eyes cloudy, hung over with cataracts. He is dressed darkly. Breeches, a dark belt, and a long coat which comes to his knees. His hands are gloved. His hair wild, dark, almost as black as your own. His eyes the color of bright amber. Another step. He looks between the two of you. Another. And then gently he sits on the step above the two of you, looking down.
I'll stop myself as well and sit down on the step I am, catching my breath, just eyeing the man. What are you? Are you your pun?
Travel far, pilgrim. I am your man, yes. He says quietly. What brings you to this place, this moment? Seek an audience with I.
You you have been requested to attend the morning meeting of the Warden Adjunct.
He laughs. I see such conviction in you as to shake the foundations of this tower, young Koshani. He nods. Summoned, you say?
Yes. He has summoned you many times before, and yet you insult him by not showing up. His ire, it grows strong. His patience thin.
Tell me, is my presence better suited? In your matters of state, in your meetings, your discussions? Or is it in the governance of that which he has asked me to do? He smiles softly. I cannot follow your warden's commands, nor can I rebuke them. He wishes the North Quarter to be controlled. It is controlled.
Yes.
Is that
So we
not
know.
enough?
I look speechless, just staring up at the man. Still breathing heavy, my heart pounding out of my chest.
He smiles.
Will you merely just darken his door to entertain me?
To entertain one as brave as yourself. Few reach this high. Those who do often die. If you meet me at the bottom, I will consider your request. But first, I have a question.
Of course, yeah, a question. On the way up here.
Do you seek the maelstrom?
Does it lie up there? I'll sort of nod up the steps.
I thought it might, but I did not find it there. He shakes his head. No, that cleansing storm is elsewhere. He stares off distantly.
I'll think about what he asked. What even is the maelstrom he references, if I know of it?
You do not. It is not a dirt belief. You know of those. You have learned of them as much as you are, well, permitted. You may at least understand their ramblings when they speak in meetings. And you've heard enough of it from Jolab to be sick.
No. What is this maelstrom you speak of? Never heard of it before.
Kanzi spits. A foul belief. He grimaces. He's a servant of the Preserver. He puts his head between his knees. The delusions of the West. He shakes his head. Yorban laughs. Delusions. You speak so freely of what you hardly even understand. And then he steps past you, humming. Slowly, Kanzi turns to watch him go. He doesn't even break a sweat.
I don't fucking know. If we make it to the bottom, tell me of this maelstrom later.
Kanzi nods and turns to the side, throwing up over the side, spewing his vomit on the spikes below.
I'll kind of reach forward and put a hand on his shoulder so he doesn't lean too far over the edge.
You grab him. Luckily, he almost slips as you grab the cloth of his back and pull him along the slick stone. He gasps for a second, flailing his hands, and then stops as you pull him into the center of the stairwell. Closes his eyes, shaking a bit. The first signs of real mortality from this stranger from the West.
Be careful. Pulls you along when you get closer to the edge.
He
Close to you.
nods.
Yeah. You lead the way. Back down. Let's go.
He turns, staring down the great descent, pondering what lies below. You as well begin, step after step, seeking the bottom and what lies beyond. And that is where we'll end that for now.